Hello there, all you home labbers and engineers. So today we're going to look at setting up a reverse proxy to go from Apache to esxi. Esxi is a popular hypervisor, and if you are using some of the older versions, you can get it for free. And so it is popular among the home labbing community, as well as it is an enterprise level hypervisor. So with that, let's take a look at how we get Apache to reverse proxy into our esxi server. And once you do that, you're able to set up SSL certs as well as give it a friendly domain name. Let's get started. For this video, I'm going to assume that you already have an Apache server up and running. We're also going to assume that you already have a version of esxi up and running. For me, I'm using esxi, I think 6.5 update 2. So that's the one that this one is currently running on, and I can vouch that it does work appropriately. I am able to get into everything the way I would expect. I am able to open up the console and things like that. So this does work for me without any problems. With that, let's get started and look into how we configure Apache. So pull up your terminal, SSH into Apache. And then the first thing we're going to go is cd etc apache 2 sites available. Inside of here, this is where all of your virtual host files go. And so we are going to sudo nano esxi.conf. This configuration file will create a new virtual host for esxi specifically. If it asks you for your sudo password, just give it your sudo password. Since I've done this a bunch, I happen to have everything all set up. So I will also have these files in the description below. So don't worry about typing everything out because you'll just be able to copy paste it. And we're going to call this one esxi. We're going to change these values, esxi.fengineer.com, since that's my domain. For your custom log, you can change it to your service name if you want, and you probably should. And then down here, since I'm planning on putting this with an SSL cert, I want my virtual host on port 80, which is HTTP, to automatically rewrite over and send all users over to HTTPS. So with that, this says that any traffic that comes in on HTTP for the esxi.fengineer domain, it will automatically rewrite it to basically just go straight to HTTPS. It will not even hit your actual esxi server or anything. This is on the Apache level. Apache just tells it, if you came in with HTTP, go back and use HTTPS instead. So we'll exit out of there. Save that. The next thing we need to do is set up a configuration file for SSL. Let's get into a file to set up our SSL virtual host. For that, we're going to sudo nano esxi-le-ssl.conf. Let's Encrypt tends to put this -le-ssl, and it separates out your configuration files for HTTP and HTTPS. So with that, we get a blank file. Let's copy over the file that will be down in the description. We need to make a couple of changes. The server admin is john@fengineer. And this one I'm calling esxi.fe-engineer.com. instead of R620, call this ESXi. I happen to run ESXi on a Dell PowerEdge R620 server. Here are some of the important parts. This location block, what it does is it tells Apache that only these IP addresses are allowed to get into this server. And so for me, my 192.168.0 is my main VLAN, and the /24 just means all of the possible IPs in there. So everything from .1 to .255, I think. So with that, this will cover any of my computers on my main VLAN, and all of my computers and things hook up to my main VLAN, whereas servers live on a separate VLAN, and there's a separate VLAN for IoT devices and things like that. This basically just says that only the VLAN that's my main VLAN will be able to actually access ESXi. And so if you do not want the outside internet to be able to access your ESXi, which you probably do not, then you will want to put something like this in here. You should just be able to use exactly what's here and then update this require IP to the specific VLAN that you happen to be on. It could be 192.168.10, 192.168.1, or .0. So just update that to be whatever makes sense for your setup. And then it took me quite a while to figure out all the correct settings for ESXi. And as far as I've been able to tell, these ones are all required and all work appropriately. But you're going to have your SSL proxy engine on, SSL proxy verified none, SSL proxy check peer CN off, SSL proxy check peer name off, SSL proxy check peer expire off, proxy requests off, and proxy preserve host off. After that, these are effectively the things that are your actual proxying. So this is what actually tells Apache to reverse proxy. And this handles WebSockets. These parts handle the different subdirectories. And again, we've got some more WebSockets for anything inside of tickets. The screen, we just pass back and forth. And then the /UI subdirectory. This request header set X forwarded HTTPS to 0. It does make a difference. I'm pretty sure I checked every single one of these to make sure that they were all necessary. After that, we'll just take our SSL spot and we will update it to be where our actual SSL cert lives. So with that, we should be able to just exit out, save. Then inside of Apache, we need to enable the two sites that we have. So enabling these sites, what we're going to do is sudo a2 in site esxi.conf, as well as esxi-le.ssl.conf. These sites have been enabled. Now in Apache, we will need to sudo systemctl reload Apache 2. Apache 2 should reload. For some of you, this may not work appropriately. And what you will need to do is enable different modules. And you can enable different modules by using sudo a2 nmod. And that stands for Apache 2 enable module. The modules you will likely need to enable are proxy _ was tunnel, headers, SSL, set environment if. You also need proxy HTTP, rewrite. I'll have a list of all the modules that you should need. For me, I already have all of these enabled, so I don't run into any problems. After enabling those modules, you should be able to sudo systemctl reload Apache 2. It should reload just fine. And then what we end up doing is we can now go to http:// esxi.fe-engineer.com. I'm doing deliberately HTTP because it should forward us to HTTPS, and then it should just work. And we'll see in there, it did work appropriately. And we can log in with our root, and we are in. We have an SSL cert applied. It's my fe-engineer star cert. We're into ESXi. We can go and look at virtual machines. We can go and open one up. We can look at the console. It all works. So that is how we go from Apache reverse proxying using SSL certs through Apache to then hit our ESXi server. That's all there is to it. I want to say thank you to everybody who watched this video. I hope that you got something out of it. And if you are having trouble with proxies to ESXi, I hope this gave you what you needed in order to get it fixed. I just want to tell everybody, I actually got a subscriber yesterday. I know it sounds so silly, but it absolutely made my day. If you got value out of this video, this is a new channel and I'm still working on making things better, as well as getting better at recording, better at video editing. I do edit them all myself. Any likes, subscribes, or comments, I absolutely appreciate. And if there's something you'd like for me to do, feel free and leave a comment down and I will try to do it here in the near future. I do have a bunch of other videos that I plan on making, so feel free and check back anytime because I have lots of things for home labbers and setting up different services like Nextcloud and configuring PHP correctly, things like that. I really appreciate everybody's time and I hope you have a great day. Thank you.